I'm back with another stream. I'm gonna talk about Avengers Doomsday full cast revealed. Chris Hemsworth, Channing Tatum, Florence Pugh, Anthony Mackie, and more. So, just reading this story from Variety. So, Avengers have assembled once again. Marvel slowly revealed the full cast of Avengers Doomsday in a live stream that began Wednesday morning. Among the cast members are Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, who debuted as Captain America in last month's Brave New World. His co-star Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang / Ant-Man, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Letitia Wright as Shuri, who took over the Black Panther mantle in Wakanda Forever, and her co-star Winston Duke as M'Baku, who previously announced Robert Downey Jr. will be back as the villain Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man. The biggest surprises were several returning X-Men stars for Avengers Doomsday. The mutant cast includes Patrick Stewart, who's Professor Charles Xavier killed off in both Logan and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but appears to be back. Ian McKellen, who's last seen as Magneto in X-Men Days of Future Past. Kelsey Grammer as Beast, who have made a cameo in the post-credit scenes of the Marvels. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler from X2. James Marsden as Cyclops. Shannon Tatum, who played Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. And Rebecca Romaine, who originated the shape-shifting role of Mystique before Jennifer Lawrence took it over in the X-Men prequels. Some recent Marvel newcomers are also being introduced into the Avengers ensemble. They include Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as the Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, and Eben Mars Bagrock as the Thing from this summer's Fantastic Four First Steps. Thunderbolt stars Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova in the solo film Black Widow. David Harbour as Red Guardian, Wyatt Russell as the U.S. agent, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Louis Pullman as Mysterious Bob, Simon Lewis Shang-Chi, uh, Tanoke Hirata Mejia, who played the underwater antagonist Namor the Submariner in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's been 6 years since the Avengers team got together on screen when they defeated Thanos, Josh Brolin in 2019's Avengers Endgame. The film, that film said goodbye to Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Chris Evans' Captain America, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. In the years since the MCU has introduced characters like Lu's Shang-Chi, Rice's Black Panther, and the Eternals. However, Iron Man's death turned out to not be the last fans will see of Downey in the MCU. In July of last year, the actor revealed at San Diego Comic-Con that he will portray the villainous Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom, in the upcoming Avengers film. New mask, same task. He told the crowd. Joe and Anthony Russo are also making their own return to Marvel after directing Captain America's Winter Soldier, Civil War, and the last two Avengers to helm Doomsday. On the horizon, Marvel is releasing Thunderbolts on May 2nd, Fantastic Four First Steps on July 25th, and Avengers Doomsday hits theaters May 1st, 2026. So yeah, that was the reveal of the cast, and one of my thoughts about this is like, man, uh, I cannot wait to see what happens next. I'm curious to see because they got some of the most of the X-Men characters. Uh, I see, and it's interesting to me that most of the X-Men characters that whether it be new or old, from Ian McKellen's Magneto, and of course Professor X, Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart. They've been in movies forever. You know, especially Patrick Stewart, because I believe he and William Shatner was in the movie. The Star Trek movies from back then, and Kelsey Grammer as Beast, and Alice coming as Nightcrawler. That's a really interesting cast and lineup of the X Men characters. Mixture in with new and old from the it's later on installments, and it kind of just goes to show you that yeah, they are, they are trying to build something that no other platform is. Marvel's trying to build something that no other that no one was really probably thinking of. And I'm glad they're bringing back Rebecca Romaine as Mystique, and not Jennifer Lawrence. That really is gonna make it really worthwhile. Um, Channing Tatum, who was Gambit in Deadpool Wolverine. Now, some people kind of complain about his character didn't really pull off like an actual real like fluent like Southern accent, but I thought the accent was actually pretty funny. Like it was in the comics. It's not gonna be 100% on point, but I thought it was actually funny. James Marsden and Kelsey Grammer returning back into their roles as Beast and Cyclops. I thought that was pretty interesting. So yeah, just the cast of the X-Men just kind of intrigued me the most because I feel like that was just something that I was not expecting, to say the least. Another thing that I was happy about hearing is that they're not letting Thor like kind of just go out because of what happened with Love and Thunder, which I thought was a terrible movie, terrible comic book movie. Um, I'm glad that they're giving him something to do, man. I think that was really really nice. Um, Tom Hiddleston is Loki. I really think they need to explain how in the world he came back in this next upcoming Avengers film, because if you saw Infinity War, he pretty much got sliced up and got just got choked out by Thanos, because he didn't tell him where the rest of the Infinity Stones were. Um, he was kind of refusing to give him anything. So I really want to think they want to need to explain on how that's going to be the case with Loki, being making its prize return. That's going to be very interesting. And also, what's going to be interesting is Bucky Barnes in here. He's probably going to be tagging along with Sam Wilson as Cap and Thor and everything. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Um, Also, what's going to be interesting is now because you had the Thunderbolts coming out, and you got, of course, Fantastic Four First Steps. Will these things start to intertwine with the later Avengers installments? Will it start to build up a forte, to give us like what we was anticipating, or nah, whether it's not gonna be actually connected to Doomsday and the lore. But I really feel like it's gonna be at this point because I gave commentary on this before, where how Fantastic Four, like these new characters like Joseph Quinn as Human Torch, and Invisible Woman played by Vanessa Kirby, Mr. Fantastic. Like these new casts is gonna probably play some part of role in not only Doomsday, but might have a different role, and have might play a major role in Secret Wars. So that's gonna be something interesting as well to really look out and look forward to. So I have a feeling that these characters are gonna be somehow connected, in some sort of way. I'm glad they're also bringing back Shang-Chi, and have him have some sort of connection in here as well. That's going to be interesting. And the Russo brothers, I know they're going to, I know when they're coming back and they're doing these big movies, big blockbusters, I know they're going to try to do something immensely amazing. So it's going to be something special, man. It's going to be something intriguing that's going to keep your eyes going, to keep your eyes watching. So I would not be at all, you know, discouraged or disappointed or anything. Uh, they always gonna they when they come back and do and when they come back and do installments, I really feel like they are gonna bring the best out of everybody. So I'm very excited on what's gonna happen in the later installments for Avengers Doomsday. And the cast reveal is really really interesting. So it's gonna keep my eyes looking forward to, and of course, definitely looking forward to Thunderbolts. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with the whole at the what the ending, the post credit scene, um, that Samuel Stearns has said about unlocking new worlds and everything, and of course the big damn collapse in Brave New World, the whole adamantium. I want to see how they're gonna do with that as well. How that plays a factor in the later Marvel movies. So we're gonna see how that goes, man. We're gonna see how that goes. So I cannot wait to see what the future holds and what for the later Marvel movies and for the later Avengers movies. And will they have a mention of Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors? Will they have a mention of him? Of course, but we just saw some things happen with him recently. But yeah, this is gonna be something pretty good. I cannot wait to hear what everybody else thinks about this in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the revealing of the cast and of course the up and coming later Marvel movies. But yeah, I wanted to break this story to you. So the next story I'm gonna talk about. The next story I'm gonna talk about. The next story I'm gonna talk about is the final season of You, season 5, and You season 5 second trailer previews Joe Goldberg's violent path in the final chapter. I always believe in this one, and there's something out there for me. A soulmate, Goldberg says in the opening shot, features the skyline of New York City, where the serial killer character has returned after a season abroad across the pond. Among the trailer's fifth and final season, when Penn Bagley is Goldberg. Hello, you, as he continues as a montage plays of past loves Victoria, Pedretti's love Quinn with a big banquet of flowers, Teddy Gabrielle's Marianne Bellamy leaning against library stacks, and Charlotte Ritchie's Kate Galvin walking the streets of London. It's almost like you're flirting with me. Mm. I'm just a normal guy, Goldberg says as he stalks around in signature uniform of a Navy baseball cap and matching clothes. I'm going to help you get the light that you deserve. I'm not so cold-blooded psycho. As a heart, I am a normal guy, Joe says as he tries to appease himself as the trailer concludes. As for you, we're not done with each other yet. And so Netflix has released this latest trailer for the upcoming fifth and final season of You, which picks up with Payne leads Joe Goldberg back in New York City after his return from the dead. Love Testus, Joe Bagley says in the teaser. I tested more than most, and this is the last time. I came from nothing, a true rags to riches story. I've been through it all, unlikely in life and in love, until I met you, Kate. You opened the doors to me, and I could have never imagined we share a life together. I would have been quick to judge in the past, but using the power for better and to help those who are unlucky. I know who knew that I've been the luckiest guy in New York. Netflix dropped a teaser Thursday for a fifth and final season of You, as Penn Badgley says goodbye in the teaser released during the streamer's Netflix. And Joe is back in New York, but his past soon catches up with him. Season 5 also stars Charlotte Ritchie, Madeline Brewer, Anna Camp, and Griffin Matthews. Michael Foley and Justin Loeb will serve as showrunners for the final season. Executive producers Greg Berlanti, Shara Gamble, Penn Badgley, Sarah Schechner, Leah London Redmond, Leslie Morkenstein, Gina Girolamo, Marcus Siega, and Neil Reynolds. You was produced by Warner Brothers, of course. So yeah, my thoughts about this is just like, man, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for the final season, fifth and final season of You for a while. Joe Goldberg's character completely has, you know, from when he started as a librarian back in season 1, where he was just trying to get into the game. Um, he was also, a professor. He went from being a librarian to being a, you know, a book writer. Then he ended up being a professor. Then he ended up being a professor. He dated all these girls and everything, but then he turned his life and transitioned his life to being one of the coldest, murderous, blood past serial killers out there. And yeah, man, it was absolutely just fire to watch. Um, I've been there since the very beginning. Um, and I cannot wait to see this final season because it's going to be something absolutely special. Um, Definitely, I watch all 5 seasons of this. Give this one a watch because you're definitely not going to be disappointed. All right, and the last story I'm going to break before I go is Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, should you play immersive mode in Assassin's Creed Shadows? It feels like you're walking around Japan during the Sengoku period. Immersive mode is a unique setting in Assassin's Creed Shadows that is designed to make you feel like you're actually experiencing life in Japan during the Sengoku period while playing the game. It does this by providing a voiceover dialogue in a mix of Japanese and Portuguese. Unlike with the canon mode for the game story, you can never or leave immersive mode at any time. But today we'll explain the details of immersive mode as we get into whatever idea play with immersive and play Assassin's Creed Shadows. And what is immersive mode? As a mega budget global production, Assassin's Creed Shadow shifts with fully voiced dialogue in numerous languages: English, Japanese, Brazilian, Portuguese, French, Spanish, Italian, and German. But there's additional option that delivers a combination of languages to more fully immersive in the game setting of late 16th century Japan immersive mode. Assassin's Creed Shadows takes a campaign by warlord Oda Nobunaga to unify Japan by force. And a few decades after Portuguese explorers arrived in the country, becoming the first Europeans to interact with the Japanese, the Portuguese introduced, among other things, firearms in the form of the matchlock, Oregus, and Christianity through Jesuit missionaries to Japan. Assassin's Creed Shadows features Japanese characters and Portuguese characters, and some of them are bilingual, including one of the game's two protagonists, Shusuke, a warrior from Africa who was brought to Japan as an enslaved person by Portuguese Jesuits in the beginning of the story. And the game's immersive mode allows you to play with characters speaking in their native tongue, turning unlocks the language options. The setting voice over the Japanese is primary language, with Portuguese characters speaking their own language. It happened to be fluent in both Japanese and Portuguese. You're good to go from there. Everyone else will surely want to pair immersive mode with subtitles in the language of their choosing, and available options are English, Japanese, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Polish, Russian, Korean, Chinese, simplifying Chinese and Arabic. And the setting is called text language, and it lives in the interface tab of the system menu. And if and ask if you want to be enable immersive mode and or canon mode or guided exploration when you start a new game. After this point, you'll find the option in the audio tab of the menu underneath the general category. Now, note it is on and off checkbox that separates setting from the voice language right above it. And if you're looking for the immersive experience, you don't want to simply change the audio to Japanese. You're looking to play entirely in that language. Excuse me. The game's opening is narrated by the character known as the Guide, who is the voice of Animus, the side framing device of Assassin's Creed series. The guy's native language is English, so that's what you'll hear if you're playing in immersive mode. But I initially heard her in Japanese since I made the mistake of adjusting the voice language seeing rather than ticking the immersive mode checkbox. Had I continued playing that way, even the story's Portuguese characters would have been speaking Japanese. Most Assassin's Creed games are open world experiences in which you should spend dozens of hours roaming around a place of historical importance during the historically important time period. A big part of the fun is feeling like you're arrived actually traveling back through time and directly experiencing the culture, setting into question ancient Greece, the Viking Age, colonial America, what have you. And if you have the watch option to walk among the dingy is a places of these places and here to speak the language that they actually spoke for it, or a reasonable approximation of it, why not take the opportunity? For me, playing Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in Italian felt so right, and it made the detail option. Everyone's speaking in Italian, accent in English seemed laughably silly by comparison. But it's also worth something to speak about Assassin's Creed Shadows here. I've only played for about 4 hours so far, and I found the Japanese voice acting to be excellent across the board, whereas the English audio occasionally leaves something to be desired, and especially when it comes to the dialogue from the backgrounds NPC that populate the world. And immersive mode particularly feels the right fit for this game, since half of it focuses on Yasuki Stranger and Strange Land story, and the only issue I ran into in rare instances was a lip syncing through mismatch. Excuse me, was a lip syncing mismatch. Characters speaking Japanese with mouths that were clearly still animated to fit the English dialogue. But it might have been a result of turning immersive mode in on a play season. Or excuse me, a play session. A nice thing about immersive mode is you can enable or disable at will, and if it doesn't work for you, just hop onto the menu and check the box. Note that if you change the audio language into something rather than English, you'll be forced to restart the game, but that simply entails quitting to the main menu, not relaunching the app entirely. Okay, so that is the overall thoughts about that part in immersive mode. So yeah, tell me what do you guys think um, about Assassin's Creed Shadows and playing it in several other languages and in immersive mode as well. Playing the game in immersive mode and also the cultures of Greece and the Viking Age and colonial America. Tell me what you guys think about these things. I'm about to get on out of here because I'm about to do some more content for you guys. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and sharing the page, commenting as well. That really helps me out. It helps the algorithm. And I want to thank you guys a lot for building this page um, as I'm going from scratch and clawing to get my way to the things that I hope and desire for. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And I am out.